Think food prices are high now? Well, things could get much worse. According to a new report, by the time Tracy Burns makes her maiden voyage to a Target superstore, corn is going to sell for about $42 an ear. It's Tuesday, and Tracy is here. Tuesdays with Tracy. This is a long-term view.
Do you rewrite all your scripts or just the ones that pertain to me?
I want to write them particularly geared toward making fun of you in some form or fashion.
Right,
so people know you've never been to a Target.
Now they do.
Now you will be soon. But prices, this is a long-term view, but it's still kind of alarming when you talk about it.
I think it's a little scary, yeah. Although, it's Oxfam, so you take it with a grain of salt. International aid agencies basically saying that in 20 years, the price of corn will double. They blame demand. They blame the fact that our crops are not yielding anymore. It's all status quo. And, of course, we have climate changes, so the weather is a big unknown at this point. But this bothers me, Lori, and it'll bother you, too, because you're a mother. 925 million people are hungry right now. It will be 1 billion before the end of the year. And so what Oxfam is saying that if we don't do something, this is going to get worse. By 2050, the demand for food will be up another 70%. And again, food production is not changing because crops are not yielding anymore. And we know that there's only so much land, right? We know hedge funds are buying land now because it's a hot commodity.
And they're planting corn for ethanol instead of
Exactly.
corn for food. So what are the suggestions out there? Because we know we're seeing this explosion of the middle class who want meat, who want real
These guys are blaming,
high-end
of course,
food.
commodity traders, and they're saying that we need to regulate corn prices. And that certainly has something to do with it, but it's also on the production side that we need to start thinking about it. And maybe we have to really have a serious conversation about ethanol.
Yeah, they talk about ending subsidies for biofuels. I like that. I don't have a problem with that. And investing in smaller farms, too, because as you were saying, there's so many, it's almost like corporations are going out there buying up all this land, particularly internationally around the globe. There are smaller farms that certainly contribute to feeding all these, the billions of people that are hungry.
Right, and you know what we should talk about, too? Maybe doing some micro-lending. Maybe, you know, it wouldn't be so terrible if you have these companies start to make loans to the farmers. The farmers could use the help that way. Subsidize them that way. Let's cut out the ethanol subsidy.
micro-lending. That's actually a great idea. Good.
Yeah.
You know, we could solve the world's problems,
Don't
you
you
guys.
think?
Let's do it.
Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate it.
The CEO of the world's largest retailer has a very important warning for all of us, for U.S. consumers. He says that serious inflation is indeed on the horizon, and it's going to have a very big impact on basic necessities like food and clothing. Eric Bolling, the host of Follow the Money on the Fox Business Network, joins me now to talk about this. You know, when the CEO of Walmart is flagging, folks, we're in for some serious inflation, he's also prepared. All his costs are rising, right? So that's going to be passed on to the consumer.
Sure, and his input costs are rising, the price of corn, the price of cotton, all the input to make and retail this stuff, transport it, forget gasoline and diesel fuel to get this stuff over here. But he also says labor costs are starting to rise out of China. So he went down the list of different input costs, labor, food, et cetera, energy. The bottom line is Americans have to expect higher prices. Now, Walmart happens to be a phenomenal retailer. They have warehouses around the country. They can store stuff where it needs to be stored. They can access goods in different places. So the effect to Walmart's prices may be a little bit muted or limited, but take a mom and pop retailer. It's just strangling them. A jeans retailer, price of jeans are skyrocketing because the price of cotton is up 115% in 1 year.
Yeah, so, you know, where does this, let's take a look. We built something that shows a comparison of just bread, you know, for example, just to give everybody an indication of how, and you can feel it, you know, when I go to the grocery store and it feels like it's just getting a little bit bigger, the bill every day when you're buying the same stuff you've always bought. So there's the price for white bread, $1.39 in February of 2011, and it's up 2.2%. That's a year-over-year change in bread. So that just gives
Not
you
bad in bread. Take a look at corn. Corn's up 92%. Why does corn matter? Corn is in just about everything you buy. They use it for, first of all, ethanol, but in the things you eat. High fructose corn syrup is in almost every snack, almost every soda. Every single cereal you buy just has either corn or some corn-based sweetener in it. So the price of corn going up, the input costs are going up across the board. The government won't tell you this, though, Martha. You know that core inflation number that they report?
Ex-food and energy.
Ex-food and energy. Why in the world would they leave food and energy out? The two things that we use every
they're
single
volatile,
day.
Eric, and so they can't be in the, that indicator because they're too volatile.
That's their excuse.
What is this? So where does this leave us? Because people's it's hard to sell your house. The price of your house is declining. The job market is very rough, despite the numbers that we have today that are a little bit better than they have been, which is a good sign. people can't, they don't have more money, more discretionary funds to pay for these increases.
Hopefully, combined with the 216,000 new jobs reported this morning, and maybe all the other things that are going on, hopefully these quantitative easings, the money that the Fed continuously pumps into the economy, more money, but that gives upward pressure on prices. Hopefully they realize, okay, enough.
Turn off the
We're not
spigot.
going to do it again. The problem is Bernanke on his last really public speech said if we need to, we would do more. Hopefully, hey, Ben, stop. Enough is enough. Enough of the
Take a vacation.
pumping the money. Yeah, stop printing.
For 30 years, eFoods Global has been perfecting the process by which we make our food reserves. We start by using only the finest sun-ripened and fresh produce grown and harvested following the Good Agricultural Practices guidelines. Not only are our ingredients GAP certified, but we carefully test them for chemical and microbial contaminants like Salmonella and E. coli before the approved ingredients are blended into our exclusive recipes following strict quality control standards established and audited by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. These ingredients contain no trans fats, no hydrogenated oils, and no MSG. At eFoods Global, we do not freeze dry our food, because the freeze-drying process removes moisture and infuses chemicals into the food to prolong the shelf life. All of our ingredients are dehydrated only using low heat, and no chemical preservatives are ever added. Our dehydration process naturally preserves the food so that upwards of 92% of the nutritional value remains intact. These quality ingredients are then packaged in moisture-resistant, light-resistant, proprietary assurance packaging that is flushed with carbon dioxide to prevent oxidation and guarantee longer shelf life and quality before sealing the package. Finally, we date stamp the outside of the package the day we prepare the food reserves, so you know you're getting fresh food reserves. eFoods Global Reserves, when properly stored, maintain their flavor and quality for up to 25 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. These can't possibly be the reserves. But these delicious meals are exactly what you get when you prepare your eFoods Global meals. And none of these meals require more than a pot of boiling water, the contents of a package, and 10 to 20 minutes. Pretty soon, you are going to select some of these delicious meals to try for yourself for free. That's a great opportunity. Let's talk about some other opportunities eFoods Global has to offer you.